Hey everyone, Ridge 6 here. My plan for this evening is to run a few cargo contracts with the Hull C. Hopefully it all works out. Sometimes it's a little buggy, but follow along. Let's see how it goes. Let's go pull the ship.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Vehicle selected.
This thing is massive. Alright, well, I know that a lot of citizens who have been trying the Hull C out have had some difficulties with it. I've had a lot of success, honestly, so I'm gonna just show what I've been doing.
How can this help you today? Systems on. Landing gear up.
Alright, let's get out of here.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Alright, here we go. Departing home of her L2. Now, the contracts that I'm going for are going to be some of the bigger ones. I'm starting at 5.04 million this evening. And you know what? Some of these that go to Everest Harbor, I'm going to avoid. I know that people have been having trouble with those. I might do one later at Everest Harbor just to see if it will work, but this one right here, Terra to Magnus Gateway, that's one I'll probably do. Not Everest. Alright, Terra to Pyro Gateway. I've had a lot of success with that one before, but you know what? Let's go ahead and start with that one this evening. So let's go Terra Gateway to Pyro Gateway. Alright, coming into Terra Gateway now.
Quantum travel complete.
I'll trim these quantum jumps. That'll be the most time consuming, but I'll try to avoid trimming too much else. Hey look, there's Sugar Cube. Sugar Cube, yay. That's a cargo hauling friend of mine on Discord. Hi Sugar. Also in her Hull C, it looks like. Alright, so when I do this, I pull in fairly close here to the cargo area, the cargo center, but let's go ahead and get these cargo spindles extended out. Like I said, I know that a lot of people have been having a lot of difficulty with this ship, so I'm just going to show what I've been doing and maybe it will help some people. Alright. Gonna move in to the side of this. I've found that if you are just off to the side of the cargo centers like this, or just above or just below,
All of our landing
generally...
areas are currently full. Please hold for assignment.
That's interesting. I didn't even push a button, and he already is talking to me. So I like to get in here somewhat close like this, and then I will hail the cargo using the comms. If it doesn't work the first time I push it, then I will cancel it out and get in a little closer and try again. I've actually never had it fail, and I've done it quite a few times now, but let's see if it will pull cargo bay. Looks like it has. Just look around. There it is below me here. One other trick or tip that I learned from another citizen is when you pull in to this box, you want to try to have the ship as level as possible and parallel with the sides of the box if possible too. Although I've had success loading it at an angle, so I don't know that that's always true, but it might help it out a little. So pull into the box, hold nice and still, and there you go. Commencing cargo transfer. Now I think this is where a lot of other pilots are having some difficulty, where it won't recognize that you are holding still even if your speedometer is showing that you are not moving. So if you are finding that problem, one thing that I've done to get past that is sit nice and still, keep your ship as parallel and as level as possible inside the box, and then strafe right or left for just a split second. Not up, down, don't pitch or roll, just strafe to the left or the right for a split second, and sometimes that's enough to seemingly cause it to recognize that you are actually holding still, and then it'll start to load. The times when it hasn't recognized that I am holding still, I will do that, and it has always started to load after I've strafed to the left or right. So maybe that'll help you out if you're having that difficulty. Any other Hull C pilots who have been experiencing some success with the ship, please feel free to put comments below to help out our other space truckers. Alright, so notice how the bar there has completely filled in, and it says that the time has counted down, but if you go into your F4 view, you notice that it is still filling cargo. So at this point, you do not want to move your ship until that holographic box appears again, and then you can start pulling out. But if you start pulling out when you just see that timer countdown or the progress bar fill in completely, you're going to realize that you've made a mistake. So the progress bar and the timer count down a lot faster than the actual cargo loading. So make sure you're watching it in F4 view, or just simply wait until that holographic box has reappeared, which is your signal that it's done loading. And sometimes, as you can see here, it takes quite a while. So just be patient, let it load. Doesn't take more than a couple of minutes. And there you go. See, we now have that holographic box reappearing, so we're going to push out of this pretty quickly. You do want to move out of it fairly quickly, just because at some stations I have noticed that it gets a little antsy if you stay there, and it'll try to impound your vehicle. Also, as you're pulling away, try not to get too close to the cargo center itself.
And please visit again.
Because it will actually recognize that you're there and blocking. See, like what it's doing right there. It's saying I'm in a restricted area. It wants to impound my vehicle. So if you notice that, just boost out of that area as soon as you can so that you don't run into any troubles. All right, heading to Pyro Gateway. This ship sure moves like a giant brick when it's fully loaded. I just picked up 3,100 SCU of processed food. So I'm going to go ahead and trim the quantum jumps quite a bit to spare you a couple of minutes of watching. You know what quantum jumps look like. Not going to trim it all the way out though, because it looks pretty dang cool. Alright, there's the cargo center part of Pyro Gateway Station. Generally get my direction indicator located in a good safe spot so that if I blow right past it with my momentum, I'm not going to just run into the station. So I'm aimed right there, and we're going to boost forward now, build up some velocity.
Shields on.
When you get a little closer, you want to put your shields on. That will help slow you down a little bit, but you still need to be careful here. Coast in nice and slow, be patient with it. This ship does not move like your smaller ships. And like I said, I like to get in here fairly close to one of the sides of the cargo centers before I hail the station, or the cargo part of the station. There we go. So now just need to look around and find our box. It's generally pretty close if you were close enough to the cargo set. Yeah, ooh, yeah, right here. Nice and close. Just generally do nice little soft touches to the forward thrusters until I calmly and smoothly coast into the box. Try to be parallel with the sides of the box like I mentioned. That seems to help it out. Alright. And there we go. Like I said, if it thinks you're moving, hold still, strafe to the right or left, and that has always done the trick for me. Another Hull C pilot that I know said that another trick that he has found successful when the box is not recognizing that he's holding still, he will exit his pilot seat and then sit right back down, and it seems to register for him. I actually haven't tried that because the strafing to the right or left has worked for me, so I just do that if I ever need to. But most of the time it just recognizes that I'm not moving if I'm fairly parallel with the box. I mentioned earlier in the video as well that I generally avoid Everus Harbor for these contracts. A lot of them go in and out of Everus Harbor, but a lot of people have difficulty there. We'll see. I might try Everus Harbor later this evening. Okay, you can see the SU climbing. Let's see if it delivers the whole batch. And it did. Nice. Well, it looks like it's one SU short, but it said the objective was complete. Oh, there we go. Now it's saying the whole thing was complete. 3165 SCU of processed food, and it actually even completely processed the contract, so that's fantastic. Alright, I actually had to log out for a minute, and then now I'm back. My ship is fully refueled, and I am back actually near Hurston. Let's see if we can pick up some additional contracts. It's only been about 30 minutes or so since I did that one to Pyro Gateway. But let's see. Terra Gateway to Magnus. Everest, no, I don't want to do an Everest one right now. Terra to Pyro, that's the one we just did, except it wasn't for 711. 698 for Terra to Magnus. Let's go ahead and pick up that contract and head back out to Terra. Alright, heading to Terra for contract number 2 of the night. Okay, pulling into Terra Gateway. Sped that up for you.
Quantum travel complete.
Here we go. Let's move in closer. these cargo spindles extended back out. This is so cool. This will never get old. Props to the designers of this ship. Alright, gonna ease my way in close. And we're gonna hail the cargo deck. Sweet, right in front of us. Like I said, as parallel to the box as you can, and there we go. It immediately sensed I was not moving. It's really cool watching this load. It is sometimes quite slow, however, but don't move. I'll speed this up for you. Alright, the box has reappeared, which means cargo loading is done, so we're going to pull on out. 4,000 SEU of processed food on the way to Magnus Gateway. I'm always, whenever I see another ship out here, I like to target it just to see what
Thank
it
you.
is,
And
and
please visit again.
without fail, it's a Hull C. I feel like the only ships that come out here are Hull Cs.
Quantum travel engaged.
Here we go, this is a big jump.
Quantum travel complete.
That one takes about 7 minutes or so, even with the Hull C being as fast as it is. Yeah, look, there's a couple more Hull Cs at Magnus Gateway. So we'll get lined up here in a nice safe trajectory and boost our way in.
Shields on.
Hello,
Again,
and thank you for
when you get close, go ahead and switch back to SCM mode. That'll help slow you down a little bit. It's unlike smaller ships, however. When you drop into SCM mode in smaller ships, it really slows you down, which makes no physics sense because we're in space, but who cares? But in the Hull C, when you're fully loaded, it does not do a lot to slow you down. So give yourself some time, and in this case, I'm still moving pretty fast, so I'm going to go ahead and pitch all the way around and get ready to give some forward thrust, which is the best way to slow down your ship. We'll just let it cruise on past so we're not in restricted area. There we go. Now I'm going to give some forward thrust, which is going to be the best brake here. There we go. Pretty much stopped. Notice my HUD is gone though, so if I zoom in I can see the velocity. Alright. Move in a little closer to the cargo decks here before I hail for a box. Alright, see, if it doesn't give it to me right away, I cancel the hail and then get in closer, reposition. Alright, so if that happens to you, you hail the cargo deck and that's a cool looking hull C, that's a nice paint. And it doesn't give you the box right away or tell you that a position is there for you, cancel it, move a little closer. There's the box, but we're in a
Warning, you
restricted
are
area.
blocking an active flight lane. Please vacate the vicinity.
Get out of the restricted area as quick as you can. So there we go. All right, but like I was saying, cancel the hail if it doesn't give it to you quickly, and then reposition a little closer to the cargo deck and then hit it again and it will work. So here's our box. Take those restricted area warnings seriously though. If you don't get out of the way, the station will absolutely impound your hull C, even if it is fully loaded with cargo, and then you're just kind of up a creek. So ease my way in here now. Small taps on the thrusters so we don't move too fast. And bring it to a stop. There we go. There we have it. Cargo coming off. Awesome. Speed it up. Alright, all the cargo is off. Let's see, well, it didn't process all of it. Notice how there's about 35 or so that it did not register. Okay, when I hit submit on that one, it gave me a little over 500,000 instead of the full 700,000, which sucks because it really just only didn't process some of it, but that's alright. So 500,000 is still amazing. Now, I was just jumping away from Magnus Gateway, going to pick up some other contract, but I decided to pick up one of these that goes from Magnus Gateway to Everus. Let's try it out. Let's try out Everus Harbor. So jumping back to Magnus Gateway to pick up only 103 SEU that will then take to Everus Harbor. This contract is worth 101,000, so it's not an extremely valuable contract, but it was really pretty much the only one that was being offered from Magnus Gateway to another station, and it happens to be Everus Harbor, so what the heck, let's give it a try and see if Everus Harbor will work for us. I figure with only 103 SEU, if it does not work, worst case scenario, I can pull out a C2 and quickly unload off my whole C and finish the contract so it doesn't hurt the rep. But we'll see if it works. This is kind of fun. There's already a whole C parked here. I wonder if this guy is bedlogged or something. All right. 103 SEU of cargo probably is not going to take very long to load. Yeah, it looks like it's little 8 SEU boxes. Oh, and already done. That was very fast. Okay, in all honesty, I have not done this small of a load with the whole C before, and I also have been avoiding Everus Harbor with the whole C just because of what other pilots have said. But let's give it a try and see if it will work for me tonight. Jumping to Everus Harbor. Such a small little load for such a big ship. there's Everest. Let's move in nice and close to the cargo deck. I don't have very much confidence that this is actually going to work. Restricted area, of course. There we go. For some reason it was already acting like I'd pushed the button even though I didn't. Alright, there we go. It's saying I should have a box. But I do not see one. Maybe it's on the other side. Let's jump over to the other side and see if it's over there. Thankfully it gives you like 8 or 9 minutes to get into the box once it populates. Alright, well maybe this is part of the problem with Everest. It acts like it gives you a box, but doesn't, maybe? Just double check the other side now. Oh, there it is. Was that thing? That was probably right on top of my head when I first started looking around. Alright, well, at least there's a box. Let's see if it lets us unload 103 SU. Nice and parallel. Oh. Okay, well it unloaded all but 4 SCU, so it didn't process the whole contract. But I'm gonna pull out of there just in case it tries to impound my ship. And it does not look like I have any other cargo on the spindles. So it took everything that was on the spindles, even though it's saying there's 4 SCU that did not get delivered. That's too bad. 101,000, I'm at 6.255. So let's see what it takes. Okay, well it at least gave us the majority of the payout, even though it wasn't the full payout. Considering that was pretty easy to do, I don't mind. So let's see what else we can find. Since we're at Everest, I might as well try to pick up something that goes from Everest. How about that one? Everest to Pyro Gateway. 4,200 SCU. Let's see if Everest will work to load up a full Hull C load. Ease my way back in here. Okay, let's give it a try.
Hey, this is Cargo Services. Let me see what we got. Sending you a deck assignment.
Ah, I haven't heard that. Maybe that's an Everest Harbor feature, having a dispatch lady.
All right, I've got you into the loading area. Get into place, and we'll start loading your cargo.
Okay.
Hold tight. We'll start to transfer your cargo.
Wow. Is this actually working? Yep. There is cargo. There it is. My goodness. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, Everest Harbor seems to be working for me. Let's see if it actually finishes loading the whole batch.
Alright, you're loaded up. Have a good one.
Okay, thank
Initiating ship storage procedure.
you. Wait,
For
what?
your safety, please vacate the area.
No,
Thank you for your cooperation.
no. Boost out,
Right.
boosting out, boosting.
Do this the hard way, taking over control of your vehicle.
What? No. Boost, boost, boost. That would be horrible if my ship gets impounded right now. Alright, I've got to be clear of the station now. That was weird. I didn't like that. Alright, jumping from Everest Harbor to Pyro Gateway Station. Pyro Gateway Station. With the Pyro Gate over there on the right. This is definitely one of my favorite stations to visit just because of the colors. How cool is that? Alright. Moving into the cargo deck. So I'm just letting it coast on in. I'm giving no power to the thrusters. I feel like I'm gonna move right past it though, so I'm just slowly gonna turn, get ready to provide some forward thrust in the other direction to slow down. There we go. This thing had a lot of momentum. That is why you want to make sure that your trajectory coming into the station is a safe one. That if you were to blow right past the station, you're not going to collide with the station or a big asteroid or something like that. So, or the turrets, especially the turrets. Okay, well, the 4200 SCU of hydrogen I have on the cargo spindles was loaded at Everest Harbor, which has a reputation for being buggy right now with the whole sea. So let's see if, well, that's convenient placement. We'll see if Pyro Gateway Station is able to offload this cargo successfully. This is a 698,000 credit contract. There we go. Hey. Cargo coming off. Yeah, there we go. Speed this up again. All right. It's done. So I'm going to get out of this box so I don't get impounded, but it looks like it missed quite a bit. It was supposed to be 4230 and it's 4162. Let me see if it'll let me submit that contract. It's supposed to be almost 699,000. I'm currently at 6.33. All right, so it did not give me the full payout of the contract. Hope it's not hurting my rep. It is not. My rep is still climbing a little bit. So, because it's more than half of the load being delivered, when I submit the contract, it does not appear to be hurting my rep at all. And even though I'm not getting the full payout, I'm making quite a bit. Let's see. Might as well just go back to Everus Harbor. Pyro Gateway to Everus. So this contract is only for 163,000 credits, but I actually am low enough on quantum fuel that I'm not going to be able to make a big jump to Magnus right now, so at least I don't think so. And I'm running out of time for this session, so...
You are clear to launch.
There is a little bug. You notice that before I had even asked for a cargo box like that, there was already one there. So right now there does appear to be a bug that when you're pulling away from a station after unloading, that box, and I think it even after you have loaded at a station, the box reappears again as if you asked for another delivery or loading. But I don't know why it does that. In this case, I just hailed the cargo deck again since there was already a box, and let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, then what I'll do is jump away from the station, quantum jump, and then jump back, and the box will have disappeared and I can ask for a new one. But let's see if it works. It is working. Now this is only a few hundred SCU being loaded up, so it shouldn't take long. Oh, yep. Looks like we are already loaded. Cargo transfer complete, so pull on out of here. And a short jump just to Everus Harbor.
Hello, and thank you for contacting EDL Landing Assist.
There we go. So, see if Everus Harbor will work for us for a second delivery. Looks like Everus is a little outside of Hurston, so I'm going to stop short and just jump straight to Everus rather than possibly needing an OM marker. Yep, awesome. It's going to let me jump straight into Everus from here. Once my quantum drive cools down.
Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel complete.
Alright, it is pretty cool to see the whole sea against Hurston like that. Nice. Nice, nice. Alright, Alright, Everest Harbor. Let's see if we can do this again. Nope, so like I said, cancel it if it doesn't give you one quickly. Get in a little bit closer and try again. Okay, there we go. Let's find our box. There it is on the other side, it looks like. It's kind of funny. At the gateway stations, when I pull in close like that, it will give me a box very close to where I'm at. Everest seems to just give you a box wherever. Let's see if I get yelled at again for blocking an area.
All right, I've got you into the loading.
Oh, she cut out.
All right, cargo's being transferred.
Nice. Is it? It is. Okay. Everest Harbor is working again for offloading cargo. And that was pretty quick, actually. Let me get out of here before they try to impound my ship. Alright, 20 SCU short, so
Thank you, and please visit again.
I think it was only the first contract that actually...
Thanks for contacting cargo services, checking for an open slot.
What in the world? Buggy. Alright, well I think it was only the first contract of the evening that actually gave a full payout for the contract and had a full delivery accomplished from the Hull C, but all of the contracts ended up doing a majority of the payout because they were almost complete. So that's great. Let's see what the final total is on the 5. I don't think this one actually submitted. I'm currently at 6.863. Let's submit this one. That takes us up to 6.987. So yeah, that was not a full payout for that one either, but it was a majority of the payout. So 6.987. So that means we made what, 1.94-ish million credits tonight with 5 contracts. Not bad.
You are clear to launch. Please proceed to...
Approved to dock.
Now, had they all been full payouts and the Hull C would have worked perfectly, then it would have been a much higher payout. But to be honest, I've been playing for about an hour and 30 minutes total, so I'm pretty happy. So is the Hull C working perfectly? Definitely not. Is it working?
You are
Yeah.
clear to launch.
I mean, it's working for me. I just made 2 million credits in an hour and 45 minutes or so, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and dock here at Everest and refuel and log off.
Auto-docking started.
There we go. Nice.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Alright, well, successful cargo hauling evening. I'm going to call it a night, sitting at almost 2 million new credits in the bank. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found some good tips and pointers if you're a Hull C pilot. Please, if you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe, and follow along for more. Thank you.